Yo, so what is up everybody on YouTube? We are back today with a brand new video, and for today's video we are going to be doing a brand new career simulation. For this video we are going to be doing a career simulation of the 2021 prospect Jalen Greens. Now obviously this kid has been absolutely insane throughout his time in high school, and a lot of people think he is going to be insane in the NBA, and I've gotten tons of requests to do this one, so of course I am going to do it. So let me know down in the comments who you guys want us to do next. It could be a resim, it could be anything. So number 1 in the 2021 draft class, Cade Cunningham actually goes number 1. Number 2, Zaire Williams actually goes. And number 3, New York Knicks do indeed take Jalen Greens. I'm for sure interested to see what this team is actually looking like that we're going to be working with here in year 1. Because for all we know, this Knicks team could be a heck of a lot different than what it's like in real life. So Mitchell Robinson is still here, highest overall on the team. Michael Porter Jr. is on the team at an 84 overall. And look at that, LaMelo Ball's on the team at an 82 overall. I like that little pairing right there. That's going to be some very good guard play from LaMelo and Jalen Greens together. So LaMelo's at an 82 overall. He did win Rookie of the Year last year. Jalen Greens playing that too, obviously at an 80 overall. MPJ at an 84 overall. Power forward is actually Christian Wood. And Jalen Greens, here are some of his badges as well. He is coming in with a decent amount of badges. And Mitchell Robinson's our center. So Luka Doncic wins MVP. Bol actually wins Rookie of the Year. Interesting. Okay. Sixth Man of the Year goes to DeMarcus Cousins, and Defensive Player of the Year goes to Kawhi, who is now apparently with the Bucks. So very interesting. Let's take a look at these all-rookie teams and see where our guy is. So he's not on the all-rookie second team, so he is probably on the first. As you can see, Bol, Caleb Love, Cade Cunningham, Zaire Williams, and Jalen Greens. As we do make playoffs with a record of 42-40 as the 7th seed, up from the 30-win season they had before Jalen Greens arrived. 23.3 points per game for Michael Porter Jr., and in his first season, over 20 point per game average for Jalen Greens, up to an 83 overall already. And we have LaMelo here putting up a little double-double with assists and having a very solid season as well. As we're actually going to take a look at what the rotations are looking like for playoffs. So these are what all the starters are looking like, pretty much the same as the regular season. And we're going to see how we do in the first round of our first playoffs. We're up against the 76ers squad that actually still has Ben, Horford, Embiid, and Tobias Harris, all still on the team. So let's see how this goes. We actually find ourselves down 3-1. And we get knocked out 4-1 by this Sixers team. That was the 2 seed. But at least we did make the playoffs in our first season. Embiid dropping 21 and 13. And Jalen Greens dropping 25 in that game. So you definitely cannot knock him. As we get a Hawks versus Lakers final. This Lakers team a little bit different. They do have Caleb Love at that point guard position. And they actually have Steven Adams at center as well. So let's see how this turns out. 3-2, 3-3. It's going to Game 7. And in 7, LeBron gets himself yet another finals and finals MVP. Heading into year 2, a lot of big upgrades for this team, as you can see. Guys going up a heck of a lot. 85 overall now for Jalen Greens in the year 2022. Mitchell Robinson an 88. LaMelo and MPJ at an 87. And Jalen Greens, of course, at that 85 overall. So we definitely have a very, very good team here. Giannis gets MVP in year 2. Bol actually gets 6th Man of the Year as well on there again. We move up to the 3rd seed in the Eastern Conference in only year 2 of this sim. A 25.6 points per game average for Jalen Greens. And 26.8 for Michael Porter Jr. as well, which is definitely nice to see. First round, we're up against this Detroit Pistons team. They do have Zaire Williams and Kevin Durant, Wendell Carter, Kelly Oubre. So we're going to see what happens here. Definitely not an easy team to beat by any means, but we do find ourselves up 3-1. And actually, we knocked them out in 5, to my surprise, 4-1. Moving on to the second round matchup up against the Cleveland Cavaliers. Jalen Greens, huge game there with a 34-point performance. Second round up against Darius Garland, Colin Sexton, Kevin Porter, and a team that does not look like a joke as we find ourselves down 3-2. We need to come back and win 2 straight if we want to move on. And unfortunately, we do get knocked out in 6 by this Cleveland Cavaliers team. Interested to kind of see who carried them and how the scoring kind of played out. So 21 there from LaMelo and 20 from Jalen Green. Kevin Porter Jr. actually leading their team in scoring. In the finals, the Cleveland Cavaliers actually 4-0 the Thunder with Colin Sexton getting Finals MVP. Moving into year 3 of the sim, our highest overall is now Jalen Green, chilling at a 90 overall. So let's see if LaMelo Ball and Jalen Green can get the city of New York a championship in year 3. Ja Morant actually getting MVP in year 3, and LaMelo getting 6th Man of the Year. We finished the number 1 seed in the East. I'm kind of confused as to how LaMelo is the 6th man, and it looks like we added Kyrie Irving. So mid-season in October 25th, we signed him on a 1-year deal for $1.85 million. I guess somebody dropped him and he just decided to come here. That's crazy, but LaMelo is our 6th man apparently. So we'll see how this playoffs turns out, as we are the number 1 seed from the Eastern Conference. Up against the Magic, who have Markelle Fultz, Evan Fournier, Aaron Gordon, Nikola Vucevic. You know, the same old, same old. We find ourselves up 3-1 on them very early in the first round. And we end up beating them in 5, 4-1. As we're going to be playing against that Cavaliers team that did destroy the entire league in the playoffs last year. They have Killian Hayes, Colin Sexton, Kawhi Leonard now, who they did not have previously, Kevin Love, and a very good team. But thankfully, we do actually 4-0 them this time. Colin Sexton dropping 22, but it was not enough, as we got some very solid scoring there from Jalen Green and Kyrie Irving. Moving on to the Eastern Conference Finals, we find ourselves up against this Bulls team. Zach LaVine, Jalen Johnson, Laurie Markkanen, Julius Randle, Cody Zeller is actually their starting center. So we'll see how this goes, as we find ourselves up 3-1 and we knock them out in 5, 4-1. Here we are. We made it to our first finals in year 3 up against the New Orleans Pelicans. Obviously, Zion is a problem. So we'll see how this series goes, as it's not going to be an easy one. 2-2, 3-2, and we'll see if we can push it to 7. And unfortunately, boys, we could not push it to 7, as we are going to be losing this game 131-117. Always hop in with Simcast, and it was just too out of our hands. So the Pelicans do win this final series in 6, 4-2. But there is always next year for our extremely young core of LaMelo Ball and Jalen Green. Kind of want to look at the box score from that game and see how it exactly played out. So 30 points there from Kyrie, 27 from Jalen Green, 17 from our guy. But of course, they have James Wiseman and Zion, who was just too much for us to handle in year 3. But hopefully in year 4, that is different, as we are now in the year 2024. Jalen Green's already up to a 94 overall. LaMelo's at a 90. Mitchell Robinson's at a 90. And Michael Porter Jr. is at a 90. We added Eric Bailey Jr., who's an 81 overall power forward, who's actually in the starting role, to my surprise. And also to my surprise, Jalen Green has still not made an All-NBA team. Giannis gets MVP with the Raptors, apparently, as we are the number 1 seed in the East yet again, with obviously no Kyrie this year. 95 overall, Jalen Green averaging over 25 points per game. 22.2 as well for Michael Porter Jr. And LaMelo is doing his thing as well at that point guard position. Our first round matchup is up against that same Cavaliers squad that did give us trouble in the past. And we actually, yet again, destroyed them 4-1. With a huge game there from Jalen Green, dropping a 30 bomb on their heads. Colin Sexton putting up 27, but it was not enough. Pistons second round right here, Kevin Durant and Tyrese Halliburton. But they couldn't get it done. We move on to the Eastern Conference Finals. So yet again, we meet Jalen Johnson and the boys in the Eastern Conference Finals, and this time it is going to Game 7, where we knocked them out in 7. Huge game there from Melo. Moving on to the finals here, up against the Denver Nuggets, Nikola Jokic and Jamal Murray. As we find ourselves down 2-1, we get a game. It's all tied up, 3-2. Can we push this to 7 and see what we can do? So we hop in. We are down 123-119, and unfortunately, we do have to send them to the strike. Jamal Murray hits his first one, and will he hit his second one? He probably will, so we will see. Jamal Murray drains the second free throw as well, and as you could tell, that's probably a GG. So Nikola Jokic gets Finals MVP with the Nuggets, and we move into year 5. This is what the squad's looking like in year 5, and as you can see, Jalen Green is no longer here. He did leave the Knicks in free agency, but the question is, to where did he go? And it looks like it's one of those things that you have to sim in about a week for them to sign somewhere. I don't know why that happens with the 2K sim sometimes, but it does. So we simmed a week, and let's search up Jalen Green's name yet again and see where he actually ended up going. So he has went to the Atlanta Hawks. Let's see what this team is looking like that he has around him. Trigger Trey, Jalen Green, John Collins, Clint Capella, DeAndre Hunter. This is a bomb squad in all honesty. Luka Doncic gets MVP with the Mavericks yet again. And we finish as the 2nd seed behind that New York Knicks team, actually. Jalen Green averaging 23.4 points per game. Trae Young right behind him with 20.6. First round matchup, we have a matchup up against that Cleveland Cavaliers team. And it's really going to be interesting when we're up against the Knicks if they also make it to the Eastern Conference Finals. And we do, because obviously that's the team we just left. First round, we did flood the Cleveland Cavaliers 4-0 in an absolute sweep. Colin Sexton dropping 20 piece. Trae Young absolutely destroying them. Second round up against that Bulls team yet again. And the Bulls team was no match for us as we knocked them out as well. 4-1. Moving on to the Eastern Conference Finals. We are not going to be versing the Knicks, as they did just lose in a 7-game dogfight to the Hornets. Zach LaVine dropping a 27 bomb. So let's see what this Hornets squad that just beat them is looking like. Brandon Boston Jr., Miles Bridges, Evan Mobley. I don't think this team's good enough to beat us, as we actually send them home 4-1 with Trey dropping 39. Finals right here up against that same Denver Nuggets team that sent us home last year. We find ourselves up 2-0, 3-1. And let's hop in with Simcast and see what's going on. We are up 125-120 as John Collins gets a big boy dunk, putting us up by 7 with about 30 seconds left. Bol inside, green light right over him. 5-point game, 28 seconds left. And of course, at this point, they are going to have to start fouling. They foul Trigger Trey. He drains both, making this game out of reach. 131-124. They throw up a Hail Mary. It bricks. And Jalen Green and your Atlanta Hawks get their championship together. Jalen Green gets his first NBA championship already in this sim. Now, the real question is, who gets Finals MVP? Is it going to be Jalen Green, or is it going to be Trigger Trae Young? That's what I'm kind of worried to see. So, as you can see all the pictures of them holding the trophies and such. So, Jalen Green actually did lead the game in scoring right there, but who gets Finals MVP? Let's check it out. So, Trae Young actually gets Finals MVP, which is definitely okay. But in other news, Jalen Green did not re-sign with them. So, we're going to have to sim in a week again to see wherever he ends up signing. So, here we go. Search up Jalen Green again and see what team he has decided to roll with. Maybe he did go back to the Hawks, who knows. But, so he went to the Thunder, 97 overall, now on the Thunder. Let's see what this OKC Thunder team is looking like that he's going to have to be able to work with. So, Jalen Green, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, Terrence Clark, not bad at all. That's a pretty solid 3. This team is definitely comp. So in year 6, Giannis gets yet another MVP season, and James Wiseman actually gets Defensive Player of the Year. Looking at our OKC Thunder, we did finish the number 1 seed in the Western Conference, 24.8 points per game for Jalen Green, and still has not made an All-NBA team, to everyone's surprise ever. First round, we're up against the Grizzlies with Ja Morant and Jaren Jackson in the first round. And we just got 4-0 swept by the 8th seed, so not looking great. Jalen Green dropped 37, and we could still not get it done. Finals, Nuggets versus the Hawks yet again. So the Hawks are looking good without us, unfortunately, as they 4-0 sweep them, and Trae Young gets another Finals MVP. Moving into year 7 of the sim, yet again, Jalen Green did not re-sign. And I'm assuming he probably did the same thing. Yeah, we're going to have to go in about a week and see where Jalen Green wanted to sign his 1-year contract for this year. So let's see. Jalen Green, where are you, buddy? Where are you? So the Rockets is where Jalen Green has gone. And let's see what this Rockets team that he signed with is looking like. Jalen Green, Greg Brown. Wow, this team is bad. They have him an 87 overall, and everyone else is below an 80 overall. Well, an 80 or below. So definitely not looking great. Mikey Williams, MVP season with the Warriors. Yeah, I don't think this team's going to make playoffs, but let's take a look and see how we finished. 25 wins. Definitely not what you like to see. Jalen Greens still did not make an All-NBA team. And Warriors versus Hawks in the finals here. And Hawks get another finals. And Trae Young gets his third back-to-back-to-back finals MVP, which is insane. So year 8 here, Jalen Green, 97 overall, is still with the Rockets. Regular season MVP of year 8, Trae Young. Did we make playoffs this year? No, 29 wins. Jeez. So Jalen Green finally signed a long-term contract somewhere, but I don't know if this is the team we would have wanted him to do that, as 4 seasons back-to-back-to-back, the Hawks just won a championship, so that's just literally insane. But in year 9, Jalen Green is now a 98 overall, and he's still not made either an All-Star team or an All-NBA team. Jalen Johnson gets MVP with the Knicks, actually. And we do slip into playoffs this year with over 45 wins, so we will take that. Jalen Green putting up 26.4 points per game, making his first All-Star appearance, which is insane. Mavericks in the first round with Luka Doncic and Kristaps Porzingis, and we get 4-0 swept. Tragic. So, Alonzo Trier actually being our highest scorer in that game, and Jalen Green shooting a pretty atrocious 7 for 18. Warriors in the finals here, up against the Hornets with Mikey Williams. And Mikey Williams and the Hornets come out on top, and Mikey Williams gets his first finals MVP of this sim. Moving into year 10, Jalen Green, 98 overall. Team around him still not looking great, boys. It's kind of tragic. On the bright side, if Jalen Green wins a championship with this team, he cannot be ridiculed whatsoever, as he did carry them. LaMelo Ball gets an MVP season. We slip into playoffs as the 8th seed this year. Jalen Green, 25.8 points per game. We finally have another player on the team that's scoring above 20 a game, which is a first for this squad. Up against that same Mavericks team that 4-0'd us last year. We're up 3-1, and we knock them out in 5 this season, which is definitely a big relief. Huge game right there for both Price and Jalen Green. Second round matchup here up against the Grizzlies with Ja Morant. But unfortunately, we're not going to be able to pull the Magic twice as we get knocked out in 5 here. 30-point game from Ja Morant. Of course, Nets versus the Warriors. Zion Williamson's actually on the Warriors with Mikey Williams now. Not what you like to see. Year 11 here. Still 98 overall. Putting up crazy stats, and he's a 2-time All-Star. That's it. That's it. They disrespect Jalen Green so much in this sim that it's unbelievable. James Wiseman getting an MVP season with 30 points per game and 15.6 rebounds per game. That to go along with his insane defense is just crazy. 40 and 42, we do not make the playoffs this year. Jalen Green, 24.8 points per game. 1 year left on his contract, so we will see if he actually re-ups. If I was him, I wouldn't, but we'll see. Raptors versus Thunder in the finals. This Raptors team has Mikey Williams, Bronny, and Giannis Antetokounmpo. That's literally the most insane team I've ever seen in one of these sims. This team right here has Terrence Clark, Jarris Walker, but they're not enough to beat that team. Mikey Williams gets Finals MVP. That's crazy. Mikey Williams, Bronny, and Giannis Antetokounmpo all on the same team. In year 12, I guess we did re-up with the team because we are here, so I guess he did sign a long-term contract extension. Homer getting MVP. Let's see. Wow, we are the number 1 seed all of a sudden, so we re-signed that long contract extension, and Jalen Green took this team from a 40-win team to the number 1 seed in the West. So that's insane. 25.8 points per game yet again for him, scoring on the year. And this is what his squad's looking like heading into playoffs. So definitely a little bit upgraded, it looks like. They brought in some decent guys to play alongside him, as they have a 4.5 star system proficiency. Up against the New Orleans Pelicans in the first round with Brandon Ingram, actually heading to Game 7. So we'll hop into the sim for this and kind of see what's going on. Let's see how it plays out. Definitely a very close game back and forth, as unfortunately they do take a huge lead there, and we end up losing 138 to about 113. Jalen Green doing his thing, but it was not enough. Brandon Ingram and James Wiseman absolutely destroying us in the first round. Finals, Magic right here up against the Minnesota Timberwolves that have Cat and Big O. So that's a pretty big duo right there. Big O actually getting MVP of the finals. Year 13, Jalen Green, 99 overall, 91 overall point guard beside him, 90 overall power forward, 87 overall small forward. So they do have some decent guys around him once and for all. And we'll see how this season goes. We really hope that this man Jalen Green can start getting some recognition around the league big time. Jalen Johnson getting an MVP season now with the Indiana Pacers. We do make playoffs, but only as a 41-41 team. 25.1 points per game for Jalen Green on the season. And let's see how it all plays out. I wonder who the first seed that we're going to have to play is. Hopefully we can actually beat the number 1 seed. It is the Sacramento Kings with De'Aaron Fox, Jarris Walker, Marvin Bagley. So let's see if we can possibly upset this team as we are up 3-1, and we knocked them out 4-1. There we go. That is what you love to see. With a bad game from Jalen Green right there, only going 4 for 11. Up against Anthony Edwards and the Spurs. But our Cinderella story comes to an end there. Jalen Green dropping 45, but we still get swept 4-0. Spurs find themselves in the finals and also 4-0 that team. Anthony Edwards gets finals MVP. Moving into year 14 of the sim, and it's just been tragic for our guy Jalen Green. Absolutely doing as much as he can, but he cannot seem to get a championship, and he can't even get on an all-NBA team. Mikey Williams gets MVP of the regular season right there. Standings, number 1 seed in the Western Conference, going from a 41-41 season to a 55-win season. Jalen Green, 25.3 points per game, 99 overall. Our first round matchup is up against the Portland Trailblazers. Let's see who's on the squad. RJ Hampton, really no one else. So we do take that series 4-1, knocking them out in 5. Second round, we are going to be up against the Clippers. Let's see. Devin Booker was on that team. I didn't even notice that. He was coming off the bench as 6th man. A bad game there from Jalen Green, only shooting 2 for 11, and they still pulled it out, so that is definitely good to see. This Clippers team, Mikey Williams, Paris Carroll. It's a pretty solid team. So we do actually end up beating them in 6, 4-2. Jalen Green dropping 27. Western Conference Finals up against that team that did destroy us last year 4-0. Anthony Edwards and the Spurs. They do have Jackson Hayes as well. I didn't even notice that. But we will see how it plays out this year. Hopefully better than last year. We knock them out 4-2. Jalen Green drops 31 in that big Game 6. Finding ourselves up against the Cleveland Cavaliers in the finals. And in all honesty, this team does not look all that crazy. I think that we will win this series. Finding ourselves up 3-0 and a clean sweep 4-0. And Jalen Green gets himself his first finals MVP. And he brings that team completely to the finals on his own and gets them a championship. Only a 4-time All-Star somehow, and has never made an All-NBA team. But hopefully that will change this year. So 99 overall Jalen Green. Let's see what this season has in store for you, bro. Let's see. So MVP goes to Homer Holmes. 27.9 points per game, 13.3 rebounds per game. We finished as the number 2 seed in the Western Conference behind only the Clippers, who do have Mikey Williams on their squad. Looking at the stats on the season, Jalen Green, 26.3 points per game. No All-NBA team this year. Only got another All-Star nod. Looking at our matchups is definitely what I'm interested to see. This is what the rotations are looking like. First round matchup, we got ourselves up against the Lakers. They got the boy Nico running point guard in the 86 overall. They got a 94 overall 2 guard. Definitely a solid squad, so we'll see what's up with it. 3-0 lead. We are going to probably sweep them as we do 4-0. Second round, unfortunately, we are up against the San Antonio Spurs, though, and we all know that that is the bomb squad with Anthony Edwards. So we're going to see what we could do. Jackson Hayes and Anthony Edwards. It's going to Game 7. So let's hop into Simcast and see what's going on. Can we push this out? 130 to 114. We do take that dub, moving into the Western Conference Finals. Getting past Anthony Edwards. So we're up against either the T-Wolves or the Nuggets, whoever wins this. And it turns out it's going to be the Nuggets. So Western Conference Finals up against the Nuggets. Jaden McDaniels, okay. So this is definitely a solid team. But I think that we are a lot better than this team. Up 3-2, and we do knock them out in 6. McDaniels dropping 27. Jalen Green dropping 24. Finals. Up against our former team, the New York Knicks, with LaMelo Ball, DJ Wagner, Kevin Knox, Eric Bailey, Mitchell Robinson. So, let's see. Hopefully we can beat our former team right here and show them why we left to go do it on our own. Up 3-1. We hop into the game. There is a 3-point game. And unfortunately, we do have to foul LaMelo Ball. He's getting set to the line. Hopefully he misses them both. He misses his first one. And let's see. Can he brick this second one? As he unfortunately does make it, making it a 4-point game with only 10 seconds left. So we will need to knock down a 3-ball right away pretty much if we want a shot. They get a steal. We have to foul. It's now 3-2. Let's hop into the next game. We find ourselves up 128-110 with about 12 seconds left. This one's looking like we have secured the dub. Getting the big rebound right there. So, let's go. Back-to-back chips with Jalen Green, 128 to 110. Most likely, we'll be getting back-to-back Finals MVPs as well, doing it all on his own pretty much, being the only star on this team with the Rockets. So we'll see who ends up getting Finals MVP and what that box score was looking like from this tough fought game against our old team. So, box score, let's check this out. DJ Wagner dropped 19. Price put up 28, and Jalen Green was actually third highest scorer, but did end up getting Finals MVP. A lot of really good guys retiring this year. Hall of Fame inductees Devin Booker and Giannis Antetokounmpo. Moving into year 16, 99 overall, Jalen Green still has not made an All-NBA team. Mikey Williams, 34.6 points per game, getting MVP with the Clippers. Looking at the standings, we are the 3rd seed in the Western Conference this year. And player stats, of course, Jalen Green, always around that same mark, 25.8 points per game scoring. First round matchup, we got ourselves a matchup up against the Sacramento Kings. So let's see how this one plays out, as they actually are up 3-2. And unfortunately, after back-to-back championship seasons, we get bounced in the first round 6-2. But of course, that team does make it to the finals, and they actually end up winning it all in 7. So can't be too mad that you lost to them, I suppose. Year 17, though, let's check out what's going on in year 17. Mikey Williams ends up getting regular season MVP yet again, 32.4 points per game. 5th seed in the Western Conference, 23.7 points per game for Jalen Green. The man, the myth, the legend, still has not made an All-NBA team. First round matchup up against Mikey Williams and the Clippers, as they do knock us out in 6. Jalen Green dropping 29, but Mikey Williams dropping 44. So finals right here, you got the Charlotte Hornets up against Anthony Edwards and that Spurs squad that seemed unbeatable for a lot of seasons here. Beating them in 5 right here. Anthony Edwards Finals MVP. So year 18. Year 18, Jalen Green, 99 overall still. He says he wants a contract extension and to stay with the city of Houston. He wants to keep on winning for them. J.D. Frazier gets MVP with the Philadelphia 76ers. Looking at the standings, we finished the 3rd seed in the Western Conference. 22.9 points per game for Jalen Green on the season. And let's see if he got a contract worked out. It looks like he maybe did. He has another 3 years on his contract. So it looks like they did end up working something out. Up against Mikey Williams and the Clippers yet again in the first round. But this time we unfortunately get 4-0'd by them. So we don't even put up a good fight. Moving into year 19, and unfortunately, year 19, the footage was lost because my PlayStation blue screened in the process, but we were unfortunately a first-round exit. So moving into year 20 of the sim, the year 2040, you can see what everything going on is. So Jalen Green has actually started to regress, boys. He's now down to a 93 overall, and we moved him at the small forward just for the hopes of this team competing still, because we had a lot of really good guards on this team. Homer Holmes getting an MVP right here, 27.8 points per game, 12.4 rebounds per game to go along with that. Looking at the standings, we finished the number 2 seed in the Western Conference with 52 wins, behind only the Phoenix Suns. Jalen Green, 24.3 points per game at a 92 overall. As you can see, he says his body has given him all the signs. This might be the time for him to retire. 3-time NBA champion, 2 times Finals MVP. Let's see if we can make that a 4-time NBA champion this year. Pelicans in the first round right here. It's going to Game 7, and we end up knocking them out in 7. Despite a 22 and 20 rebound game right there. Up against the Sacramento Kings in the second round. And unfortunately, things did not go as we hoped. Actually getting beat 4-0 by the Kings. Cleanly swept. 35-point game there from Bailey. Absolutely destroying us. So the Suns in the finals right here up against the Detroit Pistons. And let's see how this plays out. Very close series as the Suns are looking like they might pull out. But the Pistons actually end up winning it in 7. So let's see if our boy actually ends up retiring this season. He said that his body was giving him the signs. You see his former teammate there, LaMelo, retiring. And there he is, Jalen Green. Let's check the Hall of Fame inductees and see who all made it from this class. LaMelo Ball, Jalen Green, Jarris Walker, and Zaire Williams, all making the Hall of Fame in the year 2041. And I want to see if they retired his jersey. They did. So the Houston Rockets retired number 8 for Jalen Green. And let's check out the NBA records and see where Jalen Green finished all time. Unfortunately, he was a little underrated the whole time he played. You see, he's number 4th in points of all time, behind only Cade Cunningham, Bronny, and LeBron, right in front of Mikey Williams as well. And, of course, we're just going to go through the rest of them. But if you guys made it this far throughout the video, as always, comment GOAT, GOAT, in all capitals down below. So I know you guys are a true supporter and watched all the way through the videos. As always, let me know who you guys want me to do next. I'm going to do some more duo career sims like we were talking about. Maybe with Zaire and D-Wade, Shaq and his sons, all that stuff. More re-sims, more prospects. So, of course, let me know down below. I appreciate all of you. I hope you all have a fantastic day, and I hope you all stay safe. Peace.